Real Trees Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by RTP Outdoors, Trophy Rock, Redneck Blinds, Wilderness Athlete, Hoyman Tree Saws, Ozonics, Nikon, Easton Arrows, America's Best Bowstrings, Viking Solutions, Spot Hog Releases, Cabela's, Hoyt, Frigid Forage, Fuse, Grizzly Coolers, Drake Non-Typical, Wasp Archery, Muddy Outdoors, and Real Tree Edge. Hunt with an edge.
It's the 18th of March today, and I'm heading back into a part of the farm that I didn't hunt very much this past season. Looking for antlers, but do a little bit of scouting along the way too. So anything that I find that's interesting, I'll show it to you. Hopefully before the day is over with, I can come up with at least a couple of antlers. I'm looking at a giant rub line here. Everybody assumes that really big rubs are made by bucks with really big antlers. And there's probably some truth to that, although I have seen small bucks working on some pretty good sized trees. But when I look at these rubs here, I have the sense that these were made by some pretty big bucks, or at least, you know, one pretty big old heavy bodied mature type of deer that like pushing on big trees. So I'm going to keep this spot in mind. This is not a place that I'd ever been into before. It's just a little thick pocket, kind of off the beaten path. And I'm going to remember this spot and check it out again maybe in September and see if these rubs have fired back up again, but it's pretty impressive. Since I'm on the subject of deer sign, the best tip I ever got on shed hunting was from a guy named Lee Murphy. And Lee shed hunted at that time all over the place. I mean, he used to hunt in Iowa, Minnesota, I think he'd go into Canada. Who knows how many places Lee would shed hunt, but he said that the #1 sign that he looks for when he's shed hunting is fresh droppings. He said if you find the droppings, that's where the deer are at, and if that's where the deer are at, that's where the antlers are going to be. So this spot where I'm at right now has got a bunch of droppings, but I have not found any sheds here yet. The only thing I found is an old pelvis bone. But I'm going to keep walking this little area down in here because obviously the deer are passing through here quite a bit, and hopefully I can find some antlers here. I'm going to count it as an antler. Looks to me like it's the end of a beam. So this part, yeah. So it'd be the probably G4 and the end of the beam. Probably an okay buck. Keep looking. This little plot behind me was the poor man plot last year. I think we planted this in about maybe the middle of April. And you can see that it's doing pretty well. I mean, there's a lot of clover in there. I think we'll probably do another one this year on the main show. So keep checking on the Monday episodes. Poor man plots are really cool because you can take a spot that otherwise isn't productive and just using hand tools on a minimal budget, you can plant these little tiny, this one's probably, gosh, 1/10 of an acre maybe. We've made poor man plots up to 3/4 of an acre. They get much bigger than that and it gets to be an awful lot of work because there's a lot of hand tool preparation involved. But this one took about 2 days, I think. We sprayed it, waited, burned it, and then I think we had to burn it twice, and then fertilized it and seeded it. I've walked about probably 1.5 miles, 2 miles, and I came upon a dead one. Probably see him back in there behind me. I'm going to go over there and take a look at him. It's possible that we had some mild EHD this past summer, but normally when you find them dead from EHD, you find them around water. And the ones that I've found this year, I guess this is the second buck I found dead, they've been in more of the upland type settings. I think during the rut, they just get to fighting and get punctured, and then they die of an infection. I've seen some pretty rough looking bucks before. In fact, this past season we've seen some pretty rough looking ones, and I'm sure some of those die, so that's probably what happened to this one. If they're dead, I can find them. There's another one right behind me here. See if I can get you an angle. Yeah, we'll drop down. Another old deadhead. This one's definitely been here for a while. Really racking them up now. I almost stepped on this one. There's another dead one over my shoulder. So that makes 3 bucks. This one looks like it's been dead for a long time too. Some of these, the most recent couple here, they could be left over from 2012 when we had that EHD go through here and wipe out. I bet you we lost close to 70% of the deer. This one again has been here for quite a long time. Well, that's it for today. I'm going to get back out a couple more times before we start to green up here. I found 3 antlers and what I find 3 dead bucks. So I guess my ratio hopefully changes. Hopefully I find a lot more antlers than dead bucks next time out. But keep checking back and I'll keep getting out. Pretty soon we're going to transition over and start working food plots and doing some other off-season things. But it's still shed antler time, so if you haven't had a chance to get out, there's still plenty of time before it starts to green up.